Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to today's reaction video. Today we are talking about a tragic and extremely divisive story, the ICE shooting of a 37-year-old woman in Minnesota. Before anything else, I want to be very clear. A woman lost her life, and violence like this is always a tragedy. No matter where you fall politically, no matter how you interpret the footage, her life was lost and that should never be treated casually. Now, what makes this story so volatile isn't just what happened, it is how people are reacting to it. Because once again, the story seems to follow strict party lines, and the country feels so divided that people are reacting almost exactly the way big media narratives expect them to. I also want to give a shout out to YouTuber named Nate the Lawyer, who did an excellent job highlighting this exact divide. He put the facts front and center, and that is what I like the most about this video. I like what the likes of CNN, Fox News, and ABCs are putting out there. So we are going to watch a short segment from Nate's video, and then I'll react to what stood out.
Incident on a cell phone. So now let's look at the incident from the officer's perspective.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, please just keep in mind that this this is the officer who shot the victim, and as you can see, he is getting out of his patrol vehicle with his cell phone, recording everything that is happening. So that speaks volume in terms of his professionalism and what his focus is here. Okay, so he's getting out of the vehicle with his cell phone, recording everything. Okay.
That's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you. Show your face. I'm not mad at
That's
you.
okay. We don't change our plates every morning, just so you know. It'll be the same plate when you come talk to us later. That's fine. U.S. citizen, former. You want to come at us? You want to come at us? I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Out of the car. Get out of the car. Get out of the car.
So now here, the wife is antagonizing the officer, asking him essentially, what are you going to do?
I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Out of the car.
So now they realize that ICE is about to arrest them for interfering in federal law enforcement activities. And the wife, who's standing outside filming, tries to jump back in the car.
Get out of the car.
So now what you're going to hear a lot in the media is that the officer placed himself in front of the car. But as you can see, that's not accurate because while the officer was standing still, the car actually repositioned itself and pointed the front of the car directly at the officer. Now, as the officer was trying to move toward the driver's side of the vehicle to get from in front of the car, the person hits the gas, striking the officer. Now, simultaneously, while being struck by the car, the officer lets off 3 successive shots. So now that you know the facts, now that you know the law, let's bring everything together so you can to use force to stop that threat. So now you know the law and you're going to apply the law to the facts of this particular case.
À partir d'ici, ok?
case. So let's look at the facts.
In this footage taken by a bystander just before the shooting, we can see Good's maroon SUV partially blocking the street. Good's partner, seen here outside the car, and ICE officer Jonathan Ross are filming each other. You can see Good in the driver's seat, waving cars by while Ross begins walking around her SUV. 2 more federal officers arrive in this gray truck and approach Good's vehicle while simultaneously speaking to her.
So law enforcement officers with lights and sirens and in full uniform are ordering a motorist who's blocking traffic to get out of their vehicle.
No! No! Shit!
The whole encounter, from the moment an officer told Good to get out of her car to the third shot, lasted just 7 seconds.
So now quickly, let's just break down what we just saw.
With the video slowed down, you can see one officer grabs the door handle as Good begins backing up the car.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, this is where I fully condemn the actions of these law enforcement officers. Why? I condemn their actions for 2 main reasons. One, their unprofessionalism and the lack of de-escalation reflex, right? So if you are trying to open a car and you see that the occupant is actually operating the vehicle, backing off, getting ready to take off, I think it is recommended that you don't put your life and the life of other people's at risk. So what this officer is doing here, trying to focus and even reach inside of the vehicle, trying to open a moving vehicle, is point blank wrong. And the officer who shot the lady, you will see him now coming into the frame, and he is still recording. At this very moment, he is still recording. In fact, he's been recording since he got out of his vehicle and until the moment he shot the first shot, he was still recording. So that tells me that there is a serious lapse in judgment and duty here from these law enforcement officers. Though he may be justified by eliminating what he perceived as a threat, aka the moving SUV coming straight at him. He may be justified. And in fact, I think this gentleman is not going to go to jail because there is a reasonable s- uh, uh, because it is reasonable to assume that this moving vehicle coming straight at him can cause great damage and harm him. So he is in his right to do whatever it is that he did in a self-defense manner. But his actions and their collective actions up until that point shows a serious lapse in judgment and duty.
Officer Ross can now be seen filming with his left hand at the front of the car. You can see the front wheels spin forward and Ross draws his gun with his.
And you see what his first reaction is as he sees the vehicle moving forward now, his first reaction was to draw his weapon, as if shooting at this moving vehicle is going to stop the vehicle from causing him harm, right? So that just speak volumes in terms of his mindset and the training that he received.
Right hand.
So now I want to point you to the front tire and where it's at. The officer's in front of the car and the tire is pointing at the officer. So now if you hit the accelerator, you're going to run right into the officer. And as you can see, the person in the car is hitting the accelerator. That's why the tires are spinning. As you can see, the officer has his gun out. The tires are still pointed directly at the officer and the car is moving forward. Now, at the last second, the tires turn away from the officer, but the officer is struck by the vehicle, which you cannot see from this angle. Now, here's a second angle from the front of the vehicle. So you can clearly see the officer is actually hit by the car.
Well,
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to pause it here. I don't think he was hit by the vehicle. All right, let me take that back.
the slow down version is showing me that when the SUV pulls forward, they make contact with the agent in the street, and then immediately following that contact, you hear 3 gunshots follow.
So as CNN's expert has shown us, the officer was being struck by the vehicle and returned fire while the vehicle was literally hitting him. Here it is in real time. So next, the officer was recording this incident on a cell phone. So now let's look at the incident from the officer's perspective.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see from the video, when this officer got to the scene, his first action while he was getting out of the vehicle was to have his phone and recording the entire event. That's what he's done. So his first reaction was to pull out his phone and start recording the scene. Okay, so you are not a YouTuber, you are not an influencer, you are a law enforcement officer, and you should be fully aware of your surroundings and should never place yourself in front of a moving vehicle or try to shoot down a moving vehicle. It does not work. So there is a lapse in judgment and duty. Let's keep watching.
That's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you.
Show your face.
I'm not mad at
That's
you.
okay. We don't change our plates every morning, just so you know. It'll be the same plate when you come talk to us later. That's fine. U.S. citizen, former You want to come at us? You want to come at us? I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Out of the car. Get out of the car. Get out of the car.
So now here, the wife is antagonizing the officer, asking him essentially, what are you going to do?
I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Out of the car.
So now they realize that ICE is about to arrest them for interfering in federal law enforcement activities. And the wife, who's standing outside filming, tries to jump back in the car.
Get out of the car.
So now what you're going to hear a lot in the media is that the officer placed himself in front of the car. But as you can see, that's not accurate because while the officer was standing still, the car actually repositioned itself and pointed the front of the car directly at the officer. Now, as the officer was trying to move toward the driver's side of the vehicle to get from in front of the car, the person hits the gas, striking the officer. Now, simultaneously, while being struck by the car, the officer lets off 3 successive shots. So now that you know the facts, now that you know the law, let's bring everything together so you can decide.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to pause right there and offer our brief reaction. I strongly All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to pause right there and offer our brief reaction. I strongly believe that this officer is going to get away with it simply because it is to be expected that he will not be convicted. He will not be convicted because a moving vehicle can be considered a weapon that can create a great bodily harm to this officer and the general public. So the ladies, they played a dangerous game, and coupled with the unprofessionalism of this ICE agent, and you have a tragedy like this. So he will get out of jail free. So he has his get out of jail free card, which is self defense, reasonable objectiveness. So there you have it. But what is more difficult to watch is the comment sections. I'm going to show you some of the comments and you can see for yourself. It's as if we've lost our humanity. So yeah, some of these comments are harmful to read. And I'm just gonna ask you, please share with us what stood out to you. Drop your thoughts in the comment, and I will see you next time. Thank you all.